What's going on, guys? Vancoup Gaming here and welcome back to the video. Today I'm going to finish up with part 2 of the pro tips for FPS games. Now again, this series is mainly focused on Battlefield 1 and this is like a mini series really to get into this new schedule of 4 videos a week, which I currently haven't done yet. But I want to get into it, and this is sort of a 2-part series just to help new FPS gamers who are moving over to Battlefield 1 especially, but also seeing as there's a bunch of new FPS games out at the moment, it's going to help everybody overall. Now, if you haven't seen part 1, I will leave that in the description down below. Go and check it out. It's actually a very helpful video as well. This one is more sort of the stuff I didn't mention last time, just to cover up on it and just to get more things under. I could have done a whole maybe 15-20 minute video before. I just didn't think that was a genuine idea, so I decided to split into 2 videos and do them separately. So to cover up part 1, I'm going to talk about the 3 things which I didn't really talk about last time, but I still think are essential. The first one being recoil control especially, then using equipment the best way possible, and then finally minimap and coordination. So we get straight into it with the first part of this video. Now, when it comes to recoil control, there is a difference between PC and console. On PC, control of recoil is easy. It is genuinely something you don't really need to worry about. As long as you have an understanding, you're basically sorted. Although there isn't much of a difference between controlling it on PC versus console, it's just something on PC means you have more control using a mouse, so all you have to do is pull on the mouse ever so slightly and the gun basically won't move, depending on what rifle you're using, of course. If it's a rifle that shoots extremely fast with a ton of recoil, then obviously it's still going to be pretty heavy, but you're going to control it a lot better. If it's much slower and doesn't have as heavy recoil, then it's going to be so easy to control and it's barely going to move as long as you gently pull down on the mouse. And on console, seeing as using thumbsticks, you have less control because you only go so far. You can constantly keep pulling the mouse down. You basically have no limit on how far you can pull the mouse down, obviously, until you get to the end of your desk. And then with the controller, obviously, you can only pull the thumbstick so far, at which point you're not going to do any more. So you either have to lift it back up and then pull it down again to keep control of the recoil, burst fire to keep it more manageable, or just hold down as much as you can and let it go the rest of the way. Now, in terms of controlling recoil, you really only need to worry about fully automatic weapons, because most of the time with semi-autos and bolt actions, you can't really do much to control the recoil. Because it's so high, it's going to go up regardless. There's nothing you do to pull it down and keep it under. Usually what you want to do with semi-autos and bolt actions is just wait for them to reset. Typically what happens with semi-autos and bolt actions in games is that the time to actually reset to the middle of the screen with the sight is much shorter than fully autos, mainly because fully auto obviously you can do the recoil, so it's going to be in the middle anyway. But with a semi-auto and a bolt action, as soon as you shoot, it's going to reset to the middle pretty quickly. So that's why I would say it is definitely better to take your time, line up your shots, and really make sure you hit your shots rather than just spamming and hoping that you'll eventually hit some. Unless you're playing Rainbow Six Siege, where that's probably a good tactic just to spam, because as long as you get one shot and a headshot, they're dead. If you're playing Battlefield or Call of Duty, you definitely want to take your time and line up those shots. Now, of course, recoil is going to be different for basically every single weapon in a game. For Battlefield 1, you can actually go up and change which way the gun is going to recoil. If it's going to go right, left, or even center. I'd recommend center every single time. It is much easier to control than left or right. And quite honestly, all you need to do to get used to recoil of the gun, of course, is use it a lot, practice with it, really get a feel for how the recoil works, and eventually obviously you'll get better and hit more shots. Now, if you're playing, of course, CSGO, Counter-Strike Global Offensive that is, the recoil pattern is always going to be the same, so really just learn that and you'll be fine. It's not a game I enjoy myself, but I do actually understand, players and get the whole mechanic and they know exactly how it's going to work, which way it's going to go, and they can use that as advantage as well, which I do think is actually pretty cool. So now for the second thing, I want to talk about using your equipment properly. In Battlefield 1, this is basically essential. In Battlefield in general, this is essential. But something like Call of Duty is not as essential, not something you need to really worry about. But in Battlefield, if you're playing as a support class, for example, and you're using a mortar, you don't want to go up and just randomly spam it. You want to go up and use it the best way you can. You want to find out, okay, the enemy's here. If I keep hitting slightly behind them, then I could actually force them forwards towards my teammates. Or if you think the enemy's camping this hill, then I'll get my mortar out and shoot as much as possible, because that way I could actually get quite a lot of kills. The one way this does apply to COD is that with new specialists, if you're using a specialist who has a certain ability, maybe you can run super fast or something, you want to definitely use that, but also think of the best time to use it. You don't want to go up and just randomly, yes, I've got it, I'll use it now, and then run into a wide open area where there's nothing good for you. If you're playing objective mode where somebody's capturing an objective or they've picked something up, then you want to use it to get a head start. Even if the game's just started and you think, I'll get to this flag before everybody else can, then use that speed boost and you can get there much quicker obviously and capture it for your team. So obviously then it is essential to learn everything about different specialists and what their abilities are, and then how to use them best. And obviously that game comes from practice and just working out and figuring out, okay, this is how it's going to work best, this is going to do best for me, I don't want to do it at this time. That's really the best thing to do. And then again in Battlefield, in terms of what class you play, you definitely want to know everything about what you have. One of my favourite gadgets in Battlefield 1 so far is the Limpet Charge, or the Lumpy Charge, the other name. This thing is a timed fuse explosive, but is extremely powerful. Now what people don't realise about it is that the timer is 5 seconds, and that it is in fact going to go off with a massive explosion. So much of the time, if I come to a corner, rather than thinking I'll go around this corner and put myself in danger, I just throw the Lumpy Charge around the corner if I think somebody is there. 5 seconds later, it blows up and they're dead. And now I know it's 5 seconds because I've done multiple tests with placing it on the ground, counting, stopwatches, so I know exactly how long it's going to take, and I won't just go up and randomly throw it and assume it's going to go off instantly. I know how long it's going to take, and I know if I can run away and drop one, it's going to go off in 5 seconds. And then lastly for this part, even using things like stationary guns and pickups are definitely super effective as well. You can take out the behemoth so easily with one of the mounted light machine guns, and people just don't realise it. I've done it so many times, taking down the behemoths using those things, and people complain about how hard it is to take down when it's the airship, so go ahead and use one of those light machine guns. So now for the final part, we'll talk about using your minimap and general coordination as a whole. This isn't essential if you're more of a casual player. If you're a serious player who's going to really think about what you're doing, this is definitely something to pay attention to. Now again, if you're playing Battlefield, then it is actually super helpful to learn all of the symbols on the minimap. Things like enemies, friendlies, different pickups and stationary weapons, things like that. You want to learn those and actually figure out, where they're going to be. Oh, I need this quickly, and there it is, it's on the map, you can see where it is. And of course then, it's symbols like where somebody's below you, above you, you've got to learn those as well. And of course then teammates, what class they're playing as, how much health they have. In general, HUD display this, isn't it? In terms of coordination, obviously knowing the map is going to be huge. You can use it for flanks, just general playing, knowing that if I go this way, I'm going to get most of the teammates are going to be here. If I go this way, I get to this objective quicker. General things like that. And of course, knowing then different patterns of enemies, so enemies with like crowd in this area, you can actually get a bunch of kills both using a mortar, grenades, and actually be super helpful to you as well. And the final part obviously then is learning routes and tactics. Like I said, if people are commonly going to go a certain way because it's a shorter route, you want to find out about that and think about how you can cut them off, or even think about how you can actually get an advantage with them using their route for yourself. If there's something like a little window that looks down on the route and you know enemies are going to come that way, go and use that window and see if you can get a line of sight on them before they can do anything. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. We'll have more on the weekend. Hopefully now a Sunday video will be out as well. And then the usual Tuesday and Thursday, and then Saturday and Sunday course again for the week. They might be a little bit rushed because I'm not totally free time at the moment. I have to sort things around, and maybe videos won't come out. The Sunday one I'm always sort of keeping as the if I can't do it, it won't go out video. And it's not looking like I rush to do. But hopefully they did enjoy. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.